Well, hey, everybody. Good morning. Grace and peace to you. My name is Paul Dezay. I'm the pastor of Sandy Hook United Methodist Church here in Columbus, Indiana. It's good to be with you on this Wednesday. So, today I have a devotion for you and some update announcements from Sandy Hook UMC. So, first, let's kind of think about the Bible a little bit. Um, the title of this devotion is "The Bible Isn't a History Book." Now, that title might shock you to a degree, depending on how you were raised to think about the Bible. The way that I was raised when I first became a Christian as a young adult was to think of the Bible as very much a history book, a textbook, an operations manual, a very much like a book that I would have in school. And so, looking at it as a history book, I'm thinking that the books that are talked about as history, maybe the first five books of the Bible, the Pentateuch or the Torah, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, and some of the other books like First and Second Kings, First and Second Chronicle, First and Second Samuel, those books being history. Jonah being history, a lot of books being history, like the books that I learned in school. But the more that I dig in to understand what the Bible is, the more I understand that it isn't a history book in the way that the books that we studied in school. The Bible was first developed through oral tradition. In other words, the stories were told from generation to generation to generation, and eventually somebody wrote it down. The stories of Genesis through Deuteronomy, the Torah or the Pentateuch, are stories that are attributed to Moses. But Moses probably didn't write them down. Moses was the one who shared the stories. Think of it as maybe, I'm not sure if you love to sit outside the fire pit or the campfire when you're with your family, friends, but oftentimes it's in those scenarios that somebody shares a story. Maybe it's a story from their childhood. When I was um, um, when I was younger and my kids were younger, they would ask me questions. Dad, tell me about a story when you were younger, when you were a kid. And I'd share those stories. And I have a lot of memories around the campfire. I picture Moses being around the campfire, him being the elder, that grandpa figure maybe. And the kids of the tribe would come up to Moses and say, "Hey, Moses, tell us the story of where we came from." And then he would tell the story of the Adam and Eve story that we're familiar with, or where God created the heavens and the earth. Let there be light. These things that we're familiar with as history would have been stories shared around a campfire, and they would pass from generation to generation to generation. And then someone wrote them down, and they were edited probably in the Babylonian exile and put together in the way that we think of the Bible. Now, that doesn't mean they're not history, but they're not the same thing as history like in our textbooks. And that's okay. It's just that we understand that these are the stories of God's people, and they're stories that are have been given as part of their foundation of where they come from. And so, some of the things that are a part of those are the details that are remembered from those stories. That doesn't mean they are eyewitnesses' accounts saying the exact details that took place. These are the details that were remembered. God inspired those who wrote down the scriptures to put it in the way that they did. Doesn't mean it was dictated by God or the Holy Spirit, but they were inspired to write down these stories based upon these memories that were passed down from generation to generation. So there are history, but not exactly the same thing as history that we think of in school. And that is perfectly okay. The Jewish people don't get lost in whether something is factual or not, the way that we Western people do. Their stories are much more about what is the meaning of the story, what is the meaning of the text. And so they're okay with the understanding that not all of the details are quite as important. And they're all fine with that. And the longer that I journey in the Bible, and I love the Bible, I'm such a Bible nerd. I mean, literally, I can't get enough of reading the Bible and studying about the Bible. The more I'm understanding that history is a little bit different than what I grew up understanding. But the stories of the Bible are true because the meaning of the stories is what is true and meaningful and points to Jesus. The Gospels are the same way. The Gospels were stories that were written down later by the eyewitnesses. They weren't sat down immediately after something took place and they wrote down the details. They wrote down later what they remembered. And so all of that comes together, even the book of Acts, all that comes together and our understanding of history being a little bit different than maybe that we were raised in understanding history. Hopefully you find that helpful. I love the Bible and I hope that you do as well. Let me know if you have any questions about the Bible, because that seems to be kind of one of my passionate areas. What is the Bible and what it isn't? All right, some Sandy Hook updates. So everything is building around the upcoming Holy Week season, and we have an Easter egg hunt on Saturday, April 1st for all ages. And so this coming Sunday is the kind of finale of bringing in the donations. So I please encourage you to bring in donations, Easter eggs, candy, all of those things. And then Sunday afternoon, this coming Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock in the fellowship hall, there's going to be an egg stuffing. So if you're available to come and do that, I tell you what, all the help is needed that we could put all this together, because it's going to be an amazing Easter egg hunt on April 1st, and it's for all ages. It's for children, it's for teens, it's for adults. And then after the Easter egg hunt on April 1st, there is a pancake bar, all you can eat, and all the proceeds and donations go towards the teen summer trip to the Bold Conference. And so, hey, if you're able to come and support the teens, whether you come for the Easter egg hunt or not, or just come for the pancake breakfast or stay and do both, it's going to be a lot of fun. And the Easter Bunny is going to be at the Easter egg hunt, just so you know. And I know the Easter Bunny. Did you know that? I know the Easter Bunny. Let's see. And volunteers are needed for the Easter egg hunt. So if you would like to volunteer to help at the Easter egg hunt, there is a sign up form at the back of the sanctuary. And there's also always the sign up forms in the back of the sanctuary at the Next Steps table. You can contact the office specifically when it comes to the Easter egg hunt. Aubrey Skinner and Melissa Hatton are the contacts. Holy Week on Sunday, April 2nd is Palm Sunday. On Thursday, that would be the 6th of April, is Maundy Thursday, and we're having a joint service over at Petersville. I know the pastor over there. She's pretty cool. And so we're doing a joint service at 6:30. And then on Friday, April the 7th, Good Friday, we're doing our annual Tenebrae service at 7 o'clock here in the sanctuary, the extinguishing of candles. And so can't wait for that. And then on Easter Sunday, we have our 2 regular services with some surprises. 10 o'clock is the coffee and donut hour in between the 2 services. And so can't wait for Easter to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus with you. There's a lot of other announcements in the newsletter, so please check that out. And if you have any questions about any of these things, let me know. Looking forward to talking with you and worshiping with you in the days ahead. Grace and peace to you. Take care.